once again.
Hello travelers, Acer here, and in this video I would like to share my Blade Dancer using the Shadow Cascade skill. Let us first discuss the gears for this build. First, it is important for us to get Scissor of Atropos on our main hand because of its increased melee damage, attack speed, and the level of our melee attacks. Since this is a Weaver's Wheel equipment, try to get increase flat melee physical damage and increase on our physical melee damage. Also, we need Trader's Tongue for our offhand because it increases our base critical strike chance and also level to our dexterity skills, and also it increases our melee attack speed. Try to get a legendary 2 potential because I have here added melee physical damage and also increased melee attack speed. Null Portent, our armor, is very important to get at least one legendary potential to have +4 to our Shadow Cascade. This armor overall is really good because it provides us leech rate to recover our health, and it also increase our health by 16%. You could have more, and also another physical resistance. One of the most important thing here is the 1% less damage taken per 2% resistance above the normal resistance. So that is very, so the more resistance above the cap that you have will become a less damage taken for our character for more survivability, of course. Our gloves, Immortal Vice, is really important because of this 29 with a max of 30% of hit damage taken from bosses and rare monsters will be dealt as a damage over time with over 4 seconds. So we avoid being one shot, right? Because of that 29 or 30 if you got it max, to avoid a hit damage immediately. And I tried to get a one legendary potential to get at least um critical strike avoidance. Okay, and also for our boots we need Vine's Chariot because we already have a 1% damage increase per movement skill on movement speed on our skill 3, and it will add more damage for us. Here we have a Gambit of Erased with a Weaver's Wheel. Try to get um, anything. What I have here is completely trash, but I'm using it just for because of the increased physical damage and some um, lightning and cold resistance. Umbral Blades, +1 to Umbral Blades doesn't really help us here, but this is what I got for now. But I plan to change this later on, but for now I'm gonna use on this one. A belt, is this not the best belt that you could equip, but I was fortunately enough to get a 3 legendary potential belt off the ground, so I used it since it also have dodge rating, movement speed, and ward when we dodge. So might as well use it, right? But this does not have any armor, so I would prefer a better belt. But I was able to use the legendary potential to add physical damage and endurance threshold. I intended to add health rather than mana regeneration, but since we only have 3 legendary potential, we could only get the random affixes for the other parts. And for the rest, with the rings, just try to cap um, resistances and reach 100% critical strike chance avoidance. So I will have one from my gloves and one from my ring. And endurance is very important as it is one of the layers that we have here, right? So you can see here that I now have a 100% more than 100% critical strike chance avoidance. This affix on our helmet is very important, where we increase our damage per active shadow. So the number of our shadow will increase the damage of our shadow cascade. And same with other equipments that we have, just try to get endurance, cap your resistances, and all. For the idols, the huge idol that I have here is of course increasing the damage of our shadow and the skills that the damage dealt by our shadow. So our shadow deal more damage than us, right? And we also have here increased health, which is very important, and another one increasing the damage of our attacks used by our shadow. For the rest, just increasing endurance and armor. We could still further improve on this one, but idols right now cost really um uh is so pricey, cost hundreds of millions. So I will try to work on that one. And yeah, so increase armor, endurance, cap on resistances using our idols, and try to get the max endurance as much as possible, because that is very important, because we need to survive on boss fights. So we need endurance and armor, of course. So our layers of defenses here are armor, endurance, and dodge, on top of the null portent effect, wherein we get less damage taken. And we also have a skill later that I'll show. You can check on our skill tree that we lower our damage when we move. Okay, and we also have this idol where it increase physical damage, but the one of the most important thing here is to get physical penetration, because physical penetration gives us more damage. So right now I have at 400 corruption. We have 45 armor, 32% dodge, and resistances more than the cap. So that's very important. For the defenses, we have endurance and endurance threshold. The maximum endurance is 60%, so we're good to have 51%, and increase the threshold as much as we can. And as mentioned, a critical strike chance avoidance of 104%. So this is how our skill works. We cast synchronized strikes, which give us shadows. And when we cast Shadows Cascade, all those shadows will also use Shadow Cascade. Then we have Flurry Strikes to help us regain mana and health. And then we have Shift as well. So for our Flurry Strikes, we have these nodes, right? To recover mana, for our mana gain, and also for our health gain. We also have Stolen Endurance, where it gives us heal on critical strikes. Since we crit most of the time, it will heal us pretty much almost instantly. For our flourish, for our shuriken, the most important node, we are just taking this shuriken because of blade shield, right? Because blade shield will give us more armor when we have shuriken, and our shuriken is autocast by our shift. You can see here that we have 58% armor, right? That is our normal armor, and when we use shift, it will automatically use shuriken for us. And also our shuriken, we just transform it into a chakram just because it looks good. That's the only reason why I use that. So yeah, you can see that when we cast shift, it automatically casts shuriken. That is now a chakram for us. So you see, we have now a armor of 61% from 58% to 61, and we all know that 2% increase is also will help us in a life and death situation, especially on boss fight. So we have shift that autocast uh, shuriken, and also it auto cast Shadow Cascade. So in some cases, when we use synchronized strike, there is no need for us to cast Shadow Cascade. We can just use shift and it will cast Shadow Cascade for us. And very important for us to have this Unseen Strike. For this is for a culling strike to automatically kills enemies below 16% health threshold. And if you will go back to the footage of our Aberroth fight, we used shift to end the fight, wherein we did not use Shadow Cascade or Synchronous Strike. We used shift and it killed Aberroth using the Culling Strike. So we need lots of level for our Shadow Cascade here, and basically we just have this increased critical strike, increasing our damage and mana gain as well. So let's talk about Synchronized Strike, as it can heal us. This Shadow Rush can heal us when we create shadows, and it's very important to get dynamics for less mana cost. And then when we use Shadow Cascade, it will we can refund or gain mana when we consume our shadow. So it helps us somehow solve our mana issues. And also, Critical Strike is designed for us to, if you want to remove this perfect coordination, but I just want wherein when we cast Synchronized Strike, the shadows will appear from outside going inwards. So when we use Shadow Cascade, it will overlap our target, because um, in some cases during single target or boss fight, some Shadow Cascade doesn't hit the enemies. So I prefer to use that one. For our passive nodes, please check our Last Epoch planner for more details. But that is it for now, everyone. Thank you very much, travelers. See you on our next video. Have a great day and goodbye.